commission minutes.
Do you want to take this, it was the May 25th you're abstaining from?
Yes.
Okay, so,
And we
let's do this individually. Richard, is that all right?
that's fine.
Okay, so your motion is for May 25th?
Right, correct.
Okay, and your second, Ian, was
Yep.
May, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And then on the special June 6, 2022, all those in, we need a
I
motion.
make that motion as well.
And Ian?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And
Yeah.
you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right, let's go back over then to page 4.
Can we get it on the agenda to start having Red Bulls instead of water provided?
Item 3, Mike Weeble, County Manager. Item A, discussion for possible action to grant unto county elected officials a one-time year-end stipend to adjust salary for cost of living increase due to stale legislative pay scale if allowed by state law.
Thank you. So there's been a lot of discussion over the last several months about the economy, competition, inflation, salary, and there's been adjustments across the board in their union contracts and our, we're gonna be talking about exempt pay scale here in a little bit, and the aquatic center pay scale we talked about already, and I've had some conversations with some elected officials, and they are valid inquiries about where their pay scale is at, because it hasn't been touched. Now, what the public doesn't know mostly is that elected officials' pay scales are set by legislative action. They're in the NRSs, in the statute, state
Yes.
statute, and they have built-in tables for increases across the years to account for cost of living. However, those have not been adjusted for 4 years now.
At least.
The last time it topped out, and it's topped out 4 years ago, and it's been stale since. And as far as I know, there's no current bill to adjust any of those elected official salaries. So in talking with some elected officials, we're looking at, you know, there's a home rule in the statute that says if it's not prohibited, we might be able to do something about it, this, that, and the thing. And so at least I wanted to get on the agenda for a public discussion and for the elected officials who are listening and to weigh in and be heard. Because I think it's important, and I think it were something that we could do legally, it would be something we'd want to do. However, I've also, this is definitely a heavy legal analysis, so we contacted the DA's office, and we needed James to look at the statute, Attorney General's opinions, and see if it's something we can do or not. And so he had some information about that for some guidance for the commission.
So, just to jump to the spoiler at the end, we are not able to do this. I obviously would be in support of this if we were able to do it. The DA's Association has been trying to work with the legislature on bringing a bill forward that would address this, and has reached out to other elected associations to address this legally through the legislature. But when you look at the NRS that provides the pay scales, the first thing you'll notice is when the state government occupies an area, and this analysis is basically trying to mirror what the analysis would be from the Supreme Court. And when it occupies an area, it's basically saying, we are taking this on, and the sub-political divisions are not, unless you're granted that authority. Interestingly, they have taken this on very extensively, very specifically, and in a subsection in the same section, it grants counties the ability to set pay for appointed officials. Now, they wouldn't, if the county had that in their home rule, they wouldn't need to do that legislative action, which they have done. So you have that. Then you have, in the statute itself, it says the annual salary or full payment for all services required by law to be performed by such offices. So that implies there that this is for the entire payment for the entire job of this office as is delineated in the statute. Then you go on to the Nevada Constitution, and the Constitution actually, for many of these offices, specifically provides that the legislature, and the legislature alone has this power. And it says, this is Nevada Constitution, Article 4, Section 32. It says the legislature shall provide for their election by the people, meaning these offices. The offices, by the way, is county clerks, county recorders, auditors, sheriffs, district attorney, public administrators. Legislature shall provide for the election by the people and fix by law, their duties and compensation. So that 100% by constitutional section requires that this be done in the legislature and prevents it from being done by county commission. There's a AG's opinion back in the 70s where a sheriff was attempting to get paid extra for a duty that is not necessarily sheriff's, but kind of is, and that's the coroner ex officio, where if there is no other coroner, the sheriff kind of takes that over. This sheriff was trying to get paid a little bit more to do this, and the AG's opinion said compensation for the office of sheriff is set by the legislature. The legislature's power over the establishment of salaries. The legislature's power over the establishment of salaries of certain county officials, of which the sheriff is one, is conclusive and cannot be delegated. So what we would really need to do, which was a discussion with the with some of the offices, is we would have to have, I believe, a constitutional amendment and a statute that would empower the counties to control the salaries of their employees and additional stipends. Now, there's other subsections that allow for pay compensation for travel and that kind of thing, but that again is specifically delineated in the NRS and granted to the local counties to be able to do that. So, long story short, if we were to do this, this would likely be deemed a material weakness by the Department of Taxation. They would need a corrective action plan. That corrective action plan would probably include the elected officials paying back the money that they were given. So I think that would be not good for everybody. So while I do recognize this, and if there was a way to do this, I would be in support of it. I just cannot see any. There's just no path legally to do this.
Okay, any discussion?
It's frustrating because our county officials are professionals, and in this economy, what they are rendering to the county is so far under what they're being paid, or is over what they're being paid. It's difficult.
That is some of the analysis that we're doing as far as any proposed legislation. When you look back the years, the amount of the increases have been far below any of the exempt employees, any of the union represented employees. The pay scale really is behind. It's a legitimate need, it's a legitimate problem that we need to address. It's just we can't, at this level, we can't deal with it.
Can we get a BDR from our representatives, our legislator and our senator, and ask them to to put this on this upcoming election, legislature for discussion or for action to check the pay scales?
Yes.
So we would need to get our name on there quickly and get our elected representative who has access to the legislature so that it can be heard. And I'm sure White Pine County is not the only one.
Yeah.
It would be a universal action by the legislature for every county.
Yeah, if the commission wants to request a BDR, that would be an item for a future agenda.
Okay.
We certainly can do that, but there is some work being done, but all the support that we could get would be helpful. But that is being looked at statewide through various counties.
Right, okay, thank you. So for all intents and purposes, that's a discussion.
I recommend that no action be taken on this. Is my recommendation.
Supports.
Yeah, for the AG's opinion.
Yeah.
AG's opinion, the NRS, and the Constitution all kind of say the same thing.
All right.
This has been a Georgetown production. George Chatchis reporting.